Has anyone here ever made a March Madness bracket for the women's NCAA basketball tournament? Did you even know that March Madness existed for women's college basketball and not men's? If I were to ask you whether or not you knew who was in the Final Four of the women's tournament, would you know? Probably not. But I bet you know who was in the Final Four of the men's tournament. I bet you even know who was in the Sweet 16. I'm a girls basketball player, and I didn't even know that March Madness existed for women's college basketball until this very year. So, how does this happen? Well, Dr. Jay Baston, professor at the School of Kinesiology at the University of Michigan, believes that this is a result of social capital, which heavily influences the choices of athletic departments. Social capital is a term for profiting in reputation, not necessarily tangible money. Dr. Baston states that female sports do not generally provide institutional capital, financial or social, and consequently, institutions would be hard-pressed to explain how the ends are justified by the means. Without the legal protection against gender-based discrimination provided by Title IX, one has to question whether institutions would support female varsity sports. So, what is Title IX? In 1972, Title IX was passed as an amendment to the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It states that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. If an institution were to not comply to Title IX, then they would lose all federal funding. As Dr. Baston suggested, Title IX is needed because college athletic departments tend to be drawn to their teams that produce the most social capital, the men's teams. People inevitably are compelled to do what will benefit them the most, and this is where the problem lies. It is not appropriate for college athletic departments to treat their sport teams as businesses so they can maximize in social capital at the expense of gender equity. Title IX forces schools to shift their inevitable focus on social capital to being just in providing equal opportunities for both genders. There is still so much more progress to be made, though. Prior to this summer, I didn't even know that Title IX had existed, and as a female athlete who at times has felt subordinated in comparison to male athletes, I was fascinated. Title IX requires that schools provide opportunities proportional to the gender ratio of a school's student body. Opportunities include participation, scholarship dollars, and overall treatment. As you can see here, Title IX has made immense progress for female athletes. The gap between males and females participating in college sports has decreased from roughly 140,000 to 60,000. This is huge progress, and it is clear that the temptation to prioritize men's teams has lessened over the years because of Title IX. This conversation is not over, though. There is still so much more progress to be made. Before Title IX, there were no NCAA scholarships for female athletes, compared to today, where roughly 48% of all scholarship dollars at Division I schools go to female athletes. Before Title IX, women's teams received only 2% of athletic budgets, compared to today, where they get roughly 40%. Progress? Absolutely. What about that last 10% though? This gender gap is created because the easy thing for athletic departments to do is put their attention toward the men's teams, because they produce the most benefits. However, with the addition of Title IX, schools are being forced to see the bigger picture, a community where men and women should be treated equally. Equal opportunity does not happen naturally. However, with the addition of Title IX, so much progress has been made for female athletes, and I am confident that the progress will only continue. Thank you.